Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So with my new table saw, that means that my old sled for my smaller saw won't fit my new saw. And I think that it's a very important tool to have is a sled in order to make cross cuts or little intricate small pieces to save my fingers. The fence is great for rip cuts, but for small stuff and for cross cuts, I'd rather have a sled. Bigger saw means bigger sled. Whoop. So, and with that, I wanted to add, normally I would just cut hardwood runners. They swell and contract to get tight and then loose and have a lot of play in it. I picked up these Zero Play from Micro Jig, Zero Play off of Amazon for the runners that go in the miter slots. I picked up these C-channel miter slot channels. I don't remember exactly what they're called, but they're made out of aluminum. I want to put two on the face of it to use these Masca hold down clamps with, to hold my pieces stable in there. And then this longer piece that I want to mount in the face of it for stop blocks or for hold down clamps for future box joint jigs, whatever I want to do. So it's very hot out here. I'm going to get started, get these fans going, and show you guys how I'm going to do this. I ripped this piece of 3/4 plywood to just over 30 inches, which is as wide as my table saw will go. And then pretended like I was using it to try to decide how deep I wanted it to be. That depth turned out to be 24 inches. Sawdust cloud. Open it before you cut, moron. These pieces of 3/4 plywood I cut to the width, which is just over 30 inches. And then ripped them down to 4 inches tall. Turns out both of these pieces had built-in U-turns, so I want to make sure that when I glue them together that the bows of each one are facing outwards. Which, in theory, when clamped up, should pull them both back into a straight line. Nobody has time to read those tiny instructions, so I just figured out that one side has a little tab right there that slides into a slot in the other one, which allows it to move back and forth, increasing the width to fit whatever size miter slot your saw has. The kit comes with a small stop block that I tighten down in the miter slot. The instructions suggest using nickels, but times are tough, so I used pennies to get the top of the miter bar just proud of the surface of the table saw. Just make sure that the arrow is pointing towards the stop block, because as you push it into it, it increases the width. The first time I had it too wide, so I had to make an adjustment. I added the second miter bar and then added some double-sided tape to the top of it. Using the fence as a reference helped keep the sled square with the saw. Then I could drill small pilot holes for the screws to go through. And no, I'm not drilling into my tabletop. There are some blocks underneath here you can't see. The instructions require that you countersink the screws with a 1/2-inch bit. Remember that time that the kit came with 1/2-inch long screws and they were too short? Yeah, me too. So my solution was to pick up some 1-inch long 832 screws. It almost looks like I intentionally drilled 2 sets of holes. Stupid 1/2-inch screws. And the 1-inch screws were too long. 3/4 would have been just right. I had to adjust it several times to get it to slide sort of smoothly. And then a sanding block really tuned it up. I wanted hardwood on the front, so I found this scrap piece of hickory. Hickory is hard, y'all. Make sure to drill pilot holes when screwing into hickory, or you'll break your screw. Ask me how I know. Once the glue was dry on the 2 strips of plywood, I cut a clean edge on it. And temporarily set it in place so that I could get a measurement for my T-track. Which I used a handheld router and a 3/4 mortise bit to cut the groove for. I also cut a groove in the top of the sled for another piece of T-track. I slowly raised the blade into the sled for the most satisfying of first cuts. Stopping short of cutting all the way through the sled. I added a small chamfer on the bottom for dust relief. Then clamped the fence flush with the back edge of the sled and screwed 1 screw in one end. Then using the framing square lined up with the edge of the cut, I could get the fence really close to 90 degrees. And I put 1 screw in the other end of the fence. This is called the 5-cut method for squaring the sled. The idea is that you mark each side 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cut in that order all the way around. If your fence is square to your saw blade, then your measurement from side to side will be the same.
complicated mathematical formula for finding out how much adjustment you need to make, but I just took the screw out, moved it over a little bit, and just kept trying until I got it really close. I decided to make it look just a little bit more fancy. So I added a little bit of shape to the front fence. This video is not in slow motion. Did I mention that hickory is very hard? Coat of paste wax on the bottom and on the top. Turn this thing into a banana peel.
Okay, finished table saw sled. So this piece of hickory was going to get thrown away because of these spots in it. The cabinet company that my friend works for threw it away, so he grabbed it and brought it to me. Worked out just fine for this. I did sand it a little bit. Still got some bandsaw marks, but it is a tool. In the words of the immortal Bob Ross, we had a happy little accident right here where the router hit my clamp when I was routing out this channel. But it's only like 1/8 inch deep, and I went ahead and finished it and added the channel anyway. The clamp's on there. Of course, it slides fairly well. I'm probably going to put some more paste wax on it. And if you guys decide to build something like this, you can screw a block of wood over this so that as you pass through the blade, you know, you just be careful of your fingers. I'm not going to add that. I'm always pretty cautious whenever I'm using it. So anyways, this is a great tool, a must-have if you have a table saw and you want to do some small pieces or any kind of cross cuts. And I'm going to go ahead and get started using it on another project. Thanks for watching.